Alright, welcome back. This is Mako, signing in again. Round 2. We'll see if I keep going. I made a second video, but, didn't quite work out. So, today, I'm going to talk a little about something I learned recently. It's called nightmare syndrome. I believe maybe I'm possibly afflicted by this. So, if you're following, I am currently unemployed, was previously unemployed, still unemployed, and my favorite thing in the world for a long time was just sleeping. I'll cover why that is in another video, Grown Up Part 2. My solace in the world was always to just go to sleep. It always made more sense than what's going on in this world. This world doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I think that's something everybody's feeling all the time, more than ever. Keep scrolling on your algorithms and you'll start to feel dissociated. I don't care if you're on drugs or not. That's something that's happening to all of us now. It's something that, looking into schizophrenia patients are being told that their delusions aren't even not real anymore. They don't know what to say to these people because they can't prove them wrong. We could go into schizophrenia on another video. It's something I've looked into. It's a very disturbing but interesting topic. But, yeah, I learned about nightmare syndrome. This is persistent nightmares. It kind of sounds like something that it's just something that happens to people, and it's kind of like you brush it to the side, it's kind of whatever. But if you've ever had nightmares, or consistent nightmares, I'm talking every day, you know that it's not a joke. It's something that affects your daily life. It's something that I've had to deal with for a long time. Just recently I was talking to my little brother, and I told him about a nightmare. And it's always funny that it's like we act like we're not interested in disturbing things, but secretly, it's not even secret, but secretly, we're a very disturbed species. We're fascinated by the unknown and by disturbance. It goes to why H.P. Lovecraft is a very popular influence on modern culture. You get so many video games that are Lovecraftian, and you get a popularity in this thing called the Lovecraftian roguelike or whatever. I'm a gamer. Let's talk Gamers Unite. Lovecraftian it's interesting to a point, but if you've been into it for a while, it kind of gets a little trite in its repetition of the tentacles, the unfathomable darkness, and monsters. But they're not monsters. They're beyond speaking. But there's only so much that you can talk about that which is beyond words before stuff starts to just get a little tedious. It's kind of like, oh my god, there's something you can't even imagine that's lurking right behind you. But yeah, let's get into my personal experience. I am a naturally paranoid person. That is also going to be covered in probably Growing Up Part 2. I have a lot of traumatic experiences that have led me to become the person that I am. But I don't think that paranoia is not a natural evolutionary trait. It's kind of like humans evolve and have evolved into this cubicle-oriented, home-obsessed organism where the external threat is always looming, and no matter how comfortable you get, the dominant partner has to be aware of what is going on in its surroundings at all times. And that leads to paranoia. I've worked with plenty of people who are obsessed with guns, and these are people who have done plenty of bad things, and they have a ton of debts they change their name, and then they get found out, and a letter gets sent to them, and they go, well, off to the next job. And I've literally seen them quit the week of a letter because of like a $5,000 debt. And it blows my mind. It's not uncommon. It's something I've seen plenty of times, and that's just funny. But speaking to the paranoid aspect of living in the 21st century, it's 2026. We have artificial intelligence breaking into, cybersecurity and all that stuff. It's like just if you don't know about that, just get on an algorithm for a week and you'll learn all about it, and you'll just be freaked out every day for the rest of your life, because there's just a nonstop onslaught of new things being discovered all the time. Oh my God, it discovered a 20-year-old thing that no one even knew existed. Everybody uses this program, and there was a faulty line of code that anybody could have broken into, and it took an artificial intelligence that could enter any numerical or alphabetical code into it, and now it's a problem. It's like, okay. And like, we shouldn't even be using this stuff. Like, why are we so paranoid about security? Like, security is it's an important thing, but if you're living and you're worried about your security, it's kind of like, stop breathing so hard. Stop worrying about these things. It's gonna be fine. It's kind of like, you need to be your own therapist here. You need to kind of calm down, look at the big picture, and realize that if someone wants your nudes and they're gonna threaten you with spreading them all over the internet, first of all, like, get in line. Like, there's plenty of people who are trying to share these things and trying to get paid. It's game over. If you want my nudes, I'll send them to you. You won't even look at them. You won't even open it. You're going to ignore me. That's just the nature of what's going on now. But, okay, back to nightmare syndrome. I was talking with my little brother, and this most recent nightmare of mine, I told him vaguely about it, and he said, yeah, if you don't want to talk about it, I understand, but please let me know more. That's kind of what he implied. And it's kind of what we're all doing now. I grew up on all this stuff. And it's like the Nightmare on Elm Street was before I was born. And we love that stuff. I've seen little kids in the movie theater while watching Terrifier 3 when it premiered. And that was very disturbing. Kids seemed to enjoy it more than I did. I was sitting next to a friend who I'm not friends with anymore, and another friend who I'm still friends with. And the friend that I'm not friends with anymore, during a particularly disturbing scene, I couldn't look at it and I just turned away. And I looked at that friend, and it was like his eyes were glossed over. It disturbed me on a personal level. It kind of let me see beyond a social interaction, so to speak. And that was almost more disturbing than what was going on the screen. I turned to my other friend, almost in solace, to try and be like, oh my God, can you believe what's happening? And he was also aghast in what was going on. And Terrifier 3, I've seen people talk about how that movie, out of the 3 that have been made, has scenes that are purely almost antagonistic, almost meant to disturb you on a level beyond even Silence of the Lambs or anything like that. Because Silence of the Lambs, you kind of get an understanding of what the people are doing these things for. And in Terrifier 3, which I don't recommend, it went beyond rationality to the point of just obsessive cruelty and purposeful traumatizing, and that is not something I'm very into, and I'm not entertained by. But I've met plenty of people in my personal life who honestly have traumatized me and thought it was funny. They push you and they push you, and it's not fun for you, but it seems like they get off on it, which I have a lot of anger issues, and that's part of the reason why. It's kind of like, I don't think that's something that should be done to anybody. It's kind of not very productive for anyone. It's a sign of a lack of understanding of anything outside of the self. But that's whatever. Whenever I'm whining, right? So my little brother, I talked to him about my nightmare, and I told him about it. And in this nightmare, I was in a post-apocalyptic landscape, which doesn't mean much now. There's pick and choose which one you want to see in whatever media. We've all had all the dreams that we're ever going to have, right? I guess the closest comparison would be something like, I think there's a movie called Nine, a ragdoll type of thing. But it seems all sort of green. I've never seen it, but like from looking at it, seems like a very green film. You could say Fallout type of stuff, but I was in this desolate landscape, but it was basically grayscale. It was all gray, different shades of gray, and in it were sort of these giant, I would say like cranes or like giant operational just machinery. And my job, as one of the few people, I think there were maybe 3 to 5 people in this dream, including me. Me and another person were assigned to solely move material from one place to another. We were just transporters. That's all we did. We just moved material from one place to another. And in dream time, it's almost like you live a whole lifetime in the summation of a dream. Me and my partner had stopped getting paid. And it's kind of like, okay, we're working this job and we're not even getting paid anymore. What's going on? We have to keep doing our job, but we're not getting paid. We talked to our boss, and the boss was a typical boss type, and he kept deflecting and finally broke down and said, I can't pay you guys right now because what I have right now is a $30 a month car payment, and it's going on for much longer than I thought, and I just don't want to pay you guys right now. And we were kind of like, $30 a month? What are you talking about? Can you just pay us? And the dream immediately shifted from a workplace sort of whodunit mystery that was solved to being back to post-apocalyptic. The enemies showed up, basically, but it was the boss. The boss was the enemy, and it turned into him having weapons made out of human bodies that were repurposed into weaponry. And the images that left me with haunted me still to this day. This is maybe a week ago, but it was very disturbing. It was heads and whole bodies turned into machine guns, shotguns, any sort of gun. And they were so malleable in this dream. I guess you could call it a dream. But the biggest pointer I got out of it was that what we typically think of as blood and what is scary as blood is typically shown as droplets splatting on the ground. But something much worse is when something is dragged across a surface and it leaves a smear of blood. That is a lot darker and much more disturbing. So yeah, you know what, the next video I have notated immediately after waking some nightmares. There's one in particular that is very lengthy, and I will record audio of that, and I will share with you guys the most disturbing dream I ever had, which I think is actually linked to true reality, which we're all trying to grasp at. Why are we here? Oh my god. I know why we're here. You get glimpses of it. And in this next video, we'll see if I have myself in the picture, or maybe I'll put some pictures on. Maybe I'll AI generate some stuff to truly illustrate. You know, it's like, I'll be like, oh, it's kind of like that. But you know what? This AI image is good enough. I'll use it. Yeah, we'll see if I do that. But yeah, tune into that, because that is going to be very fun. I promise. Mako signing off. Later.